Turn your phone into a spy device legally and safely. Hello everyone. You are on the Digital Fresh channel. Imagine waking up one morning to discover that the sleek device resting innocently on your nightstand, the one you use to check the weather, scroll through social media, and video call your loved ones, has quietly transformed into something far more powerful than you ever imagined. Not a weapon, not a threat, but a silent sentinel capable of gathering information, protecting your loved ones, and even helping law enforcement prevent crimes before they happen. This is not the plot of a dystopian thriller or a conspiracy theory whispered in dark corners of the internet. It is a real, legal, and increasingly accessible possibility available to anyone with a smartphone and a clear understanding of the boundaries that separate responsible surveillance from invasive intrusion. The line between privacy and protection is razor thin, and navigating it requires both technical awareness and ethical clarity. In an age where digital footprints are left with every tap, swipe, and voice command, the tools once reserved for intelligence agencies and private investigators have quietly trickled down into the hands of ordinary citizens. But how can you harness this power without crossing into forbidden territory? How can you turn your phone into a legitimate tool for observation, safety, and accountability while respecting the rights of others and staying firmly within the bounds of the law? The answer lies not in hacking, not in deception, but in understanding the built-in features, authorized applications, and legal frameworks that already exist within the digital ecosystem we inhabit every day. To begin with, it is essential to dispel a common misconception. Turning your phone into a spy device does not require jailbreaking your iPhone, rooting your Android, or installing shady software downloaded from obscure corners of the web. In fact, doing so would likely violate both the terms of service of your device manufacturer and the laws of your country. Instead, the legal pathway to using your phone for surveillance relies on transparency, consent, and purpose. For instance, many parents already use built-in parental control features to monitor their children's online activity, not out of suspicion, but out of responsibility. Similarly, employers may legally track company-issued phones to ensure productivity and security, provided they inform employees of such monitoring. Even individuals can use location-sharing features to keep tabs on elderly relatives or friends traveling alone, creating a safety net woven from mutual trust and clear communication. These are not acts of espionage, they are acts of care, conducted openly and ethically. The key distinction lies in whether the person being monitored is aware of and has agreed to the surveillance. Without that foundation, any attempt to gather information, even with the best intentions, can quickly become a violation of privacy laws, potentially resulting in civil lawsuits or criminal charges. Consider the case of a small business owner in Portland who suspected an employee of stealing inventory. Instead of installing hidden cameras or secretly recording conversations, he consulted a lawyer and learned that he could legally enable location tracking on a company tablet issued to the employee, as long as the employee had signed an agreement acknowledging that company devices may be monitored. Within days, the data revealed that the tablet was regularly taken off-site during non-working hours, leading to a confrontation that uncovered the theft without a single illegal act committed. This example illustrates a crucial principle. Legality in digital surveillance is not about what technology you use, but how and why you use it. The same GPS tracking feature that can protect a teenager from getting lost can also be misused to stalk an ex-partner, transforming a tool of safety into an instrument of control. The difference lies entirely in intent, transparency, and adherence to legal standards. Modern smartphones come equipped with a surprising array of sensors and capabilities that, when used responsibly, can serve as powerful observation tools. The microphone, for example, is not just for phone calls. It can be used with voice-activated assistants to record ambient sounds in emergency situations. Some safety apps allow users to trigger an automatic audio recording if they say a specific phrase like "I need help," which is then sent to trusted contacts along with the user's location. This feature has already saved lives in cases of assault or medical emergencies, proving that passive listening can be a force for good when activated only under duress and with the user's explicit setup. Similarly, the camera can be configured to take periodic photos or short video clips when the phone detects unusual movement. Useful for monitoring a home while you're away, provided you're only recording your own property and not public spaces or neighbors' yards. Even the accelerometer and gyroscope, often overlooked, can detect sudden impacts or falls, automatically alerting emergency services if the user becomes unresponsive. These are not spy tricks. They are safety mechanisms built into the very hardware we carry every day. But what about using your phone to monitor someone else's device? This is where the legal landscape becomes especially nuanced. In most jurisdictions, it is illegal to install tracking or monitoring software on a device you do not own unless you have explicit permission from the owner. However, there are legitimate scenarios where this is not only allowed but encouraged. For example, if you purchase a new phone for your child, you are the legal owner of that device until you transfer ownership, and you may install parental control apps that track location, filter content, and monitor app usage. Likewise, if you share a family plan with your spouse and both of you agree to use a shared location tracking app like Life 360, that mutual consent makes the surveillance lawful. The critical factor is always informed agreement. Secretly installing a keylogger or screen recording app on your partner's phone without their knowledge is not only a breach of trust but also a potential felony in many countries, including the United States under the Electronic Communications Privacy Act. The law does not distinguish between motives. Whether you're driven by jealousy, concern, or curiosity, the act itself is what matters. One of the most misunderstood aspects of legal phone surveillance is the role of cloud backups and shared accounts. Many people do not realize that if they share an Apple ID or Google account with someone else, they may inadvertently grant that person access to their location history, search queries, or even private photos. This is not hacking. It is a consequence of poor digital hygiene. Conversely, if you are the account administrator for a family group, you can legally view certain data associated with sub-accounts, again, as long as all members are aware of this arrangement. For instance, Apple's Screen Time feature allows parents to see how much time their children spend on various apps, which websites they visit, and even set limits remotely. Google Family Link offers similar functionality on Android devices. These tools are designed with privacy safeguards. Children receive notifications when their activity is being reviewed, and they can request more screen time directly through the app. The transparency built into these systems ensures that surveillance remains educational rather than oppressive. Another fascinating legal avenue is the use of public data aggregation. Your phone can access a wealth of information that is already out in the open. Social media posts, public records, license plate databases, and even flight tracking services. Apps like Flight Radar 24 or Marine Traffic allow anyone to monitor real-time movements of aircraft and ships worldwide, using data broadcast openly by transponders. While this may seem like surveillance, it is entirely legal because the information is publicly transmitted and not protected by privacy laws. Similarly, if someone posts a photo on Instagram with geotagging enabled, anyone can see where it was taken. Your phone is merely displaying data the user chose to share. The ethical question here is not about legality but about intent. Are you using this information to reconnect with an old friend or to stalk a stranger? The tool is neutral. The user gives it meaning. Even law enforcement agencies rely on these same principles. When police need to track a suspect's phone, they cannot simply hack into it. They must obtain a warrant based on probable cause. However, if a phone is reported stolen, the owner can use built-in features like Find My iPhone or Android Device Manager to locate it, lock it remotely, or erase its data. In such cases, the owner is not spying. They are reclaiming their property. Some cities have even partnered with smartphone manufacturers to create kill switch initiatives that render stolen phones useless, dramatically reducing street thefts. This shows how the same technology that could be misused for surveillance can also be harnessed for public safety when deployed within legal frameworks. Perhaps the most empowering realization is that you do not need to be a tech expert to use your phone responsibly as a monitoring tool. Most features are accessible through simple settings menus or trusted app stores. Start by reviewing the permissions your apps have requested. Does your flashlight app really need access to your microphone? Revoke unnecessary permissions to minimize data leakage. Enable two-factor authentication to protect your accounts from unauthorized access. Use encrypted messaging apps like Signal for sensitive conversations, knowing that even if someone gains physical access to your phone, the content remains secure. These small steps not only protect your privacy but also ensure that any surveillance you conduct, whether on your own devices or those you legally manage, is clean, ethical, and defensible in court if ever challenged. Real-world examples abound. In Tokyo, a woman used her phone's emergency SOS feature to alert police during a home invasion. The automatic audio recording captured the assailant's voice, leading to a swift arrest. In rural Kenya, farmers use shared location tracking to monitor livestock movements via GPS collars linked to their smartphones, reducing losses to predators. In New York City, a rideshare driver activated his dashcam app, which also recorded audio. When a passenger became aggressive, the footage was later used in court to dismiss false accusations. Each of these stories demonstrates that the power of the smartphone as a surveillance device is not about secrecy, but about preparedness, consent, and lawful intent. It is also worth noting that legislation is evolving rapidly to keep pace with technology. The European Union's General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, sets strict rules on data collection, even for personal use. In the United States, state laws like California's Consumer Privacy Act give individuals more control over their digital information. These laws are not barriers. They are guardrails that protect both the watcher and the watched. By understanding them, you position yourself not as a potential offender, but as a responsible digital citizen who uses technology to enhance safety without eroding trust. So how do you begin? Start with a conversation. If you want to track your teenager's location, explain why. Perhaps you're worried about late-night commutes or unfamiliar neighborhoods. Let them know it's temporary and tied to specific concerns, not a blanket invasion of their autonomy. If you're managing a team and need to monitor work devices, include clear language about digital oversight in your employment contracts. Transparency builds cooperation, and cooperation makes surveillance effective without being oppressive. Next, explore the settings on your own phone. On iOS, go to Settings, Privacy and Security to see which apps have access to your location, camera, or microphone. On Android, visit Settings, Apps Permissions. Disable anything you don't actively use. Then consider downloading a reputable safety app, one that complies with local laws and clearly states its data policies. Test its features in a controlled environment before relying on them in a real crisis. Remember, the goal is not to create a panopticon in your pocket, but to build a digital safety net that catches you, or those you care about, before a fall becomes a catastrophe. The phone in your hand is already one of the most sophisticated sensing devices ever created. With over a dozen sensors, constant connectivity, and powerful processing capabilities, it can detect anomalies, record evidence, and summon help faster than any human could. But its true power is unlocked only when wielded with wisdom, respect for others, and a firm grasp of the law. As you reflect on these possibilities, ask yourself, not can I spy on someone with my phone, but how can I use this incredible tool to protect, inform, and empower without overstepping? The answer will guide you toward practices that are not only legal but noble. Technology does not corrupt. People do. And people, when educated and ethically grounded, can turn even the most potent tools into instruments of good. Now is the time to take action. Open your phone settings right now and review your app permissions. Have an honest conversation with your family about digital boundaries and safety expectations. Explore one legitimate monitoring feature you've never used before, whether it's emergency SOS, location sharing, or screen time reports, and set it up with clear intent. Do not wait for a crisis to discover what your phone can do. Prepare today so that when the moment comes, whether it's a lost child, a medical emergency, or a security threat, you are not helpless but equipped. Your phone is more than a communication device. It is a guardian, a witness, and a lifeline. Use it wisely, use it legally, and use it to make the world around you safer for everyone. The power is in your hands, literally. Do not waste it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell.